we have plenty of time. What are some of the things that you've been trained in that are significant, and what do you think their purpose is for, Sheldan?
Well, what they wanted me to do was to give a message. So what they have done is train me in all different kinds of information. So I have learned all kinds of things, both as far as galactic history as well as Earth history, science, Earth science, and all different kinds of things in between. So I know a little bit of just about everything and a lot of little things. So I'm kind of like a walking trivia thing on a lot of different facts. And so my job is to mainly give the message, which involves different kinds of things. So I've had a background in things like I've worked in alternate energy. I've done things in different forms of sociology, political science, public administration. So I worked in a little bit of, just like I said, just about everything. I have a background in philosophy, sociology, political science, different languages, different regions as far as things about history of different regions like Asia, the different aspects of Asia, East Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia. I have the same thing with Africa. I have the same thing with Latin America. So I have a background in the cultural, political, et cetera, histories of various parts of what they might call the Third World and of the ancient histories of ancient civilizations on this planet. So.
And what do you think the purpose for all that is for you to do?
What they wanted me to do is to understand the process of how this particular reality unfolded and where it is right now, so by telling us where it was. And so what I've been doing is what I did on the website and which I've done in a number of the books that I've written is to explain to people what is going on with their planet, its history and how that relates to what's happening right now, and also to look at government and how it has changed and what civilization is all about, so that people can better understand that what we have here is a civilization that's based upon basically war and division and hatred and upsetness, and that we are moving toward just the opposite, one based upon cooperation, love, and working together to create a planet that is guarded. In other words, it's allowed to rise to its full consciousness, but it's guarded. We are the guardians who maintain and sustain its life force and help it to maintain its maximum performance, in other words, its full potential. And our job is to do this for the entire solar system, to create what they call a star nation and create something that is called galactic civilization, which is basically what we are headed toward right now, because we're moving toward being from a limited conscious being, which we are right now, to a fully conscious being. And, of course, that involves things like changes in our chakras, changes in our DNA, RNA, changes in our structure of our brains, changes in structures of how we basically act and work and think about different things. So the Green Revolution, for instance, global warming, for instance, all these things are part of the higher consciousness, where the deep concern for who we are and where we're going and also how the planet fits into all of this becomes as equally important as sustaining and maintaining our society. So this is something that is a natural process. So what I am here to do is to explain all that to people, to give people messages about the changes, and to prepare people for the Galactic Society and for first contact.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that process, that all that training and education is for also helping how do I want to put it? The culmination of different alien species with our species here as well, to make that transference?
Well, what's happening here is one of the things that has happened with the rise in the ecological movement is, of course, the cetaceans, the dolphins, and the whales. And, of course, they are naturally telepathic beings. They're very highly evolved beings. And so really, as Wash used to say when I was a kid, he said, you want to see ETs on your planet, just go look in the oceans. And that's what you have here. You have these extremely incredible beings in the oceans with their incredibly complex brains and all the consciousness that goes with creating those brains. And they're very complex societies. And so what we have to understand is by interacting with them, which they have done with us just about the entire known history of humanity, is we are actually getting used to working with and being a part of cooperating with another species that is as smart or as sentient or even more more sentient than we are.
Okay. Now, I apologize to those that are calling in, and we're missing you somehow. A couple of you, and if you don't get your question in, call back and we'll get to you. Now, there's a couple of you that have your phones muted. I'm assuming that you're not interested in asking a question. You're just listening to the show on the phone, and I'm good with that. We're going to go to caller number 2. It's a 917 area code. So we'll take it from there. Aloha. 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 I don't know if they're busy doing something. Aloha. Sounds like they're doing something. Okay, we'll come back to you. Again, aloha. Well, let me see. Let's try this again. Aloha. Is this Dana again, or is this somebody else?
Dana's still here.
Dana, you're a welcome guest here now. You're a very popular person here now.
Great. I was just listening.
Oh, did you just want to listen to the show? And you're just listening on the phone? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to hang you up, but I'll go ahead and just mute you, and then you can listen as much as long, and we can hang up whenever you want. So
okay, great.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to go up to this other person here. Aloha.
Aloha.
For some reason you're muted, but I guess you're not. But this is Andrew Aloha with Sheldan Nidle, and if you can just let us know who you are, where you're located at, and how you heard about us.
Yes, my name is Bill. I'm in Illinois, and I heard from an email from Sheldan Service.
Nice. And Bill, do you know? Well, what kind of question do you have?
Yeah, Sheldan. First, I wanted to say thank you very much for your channelings and your information that you're imparting to everyone. I've been following you for some time, and I feel pretty well prepared for what is coming. I feel there's a big gap, and what do you think it's going to take to fill in the population of the world as far as what's going to happen? And do you feel that's been prepared for?
Right. Well, Bill, thanks for calling. As far as preparing the people on this planet for the changes, one of the important things that we have to understand is that the scenario is about governmental change as well as contact. So one of the first things that they are definitely working with the group that I call the Earth Allies, which is simply that group of dedicated people who are working for change in their government and transforming what it is now to what it should be. In other words, a return to a constitutional republic, etc. So what we're talking about is that group formally announcing their existence and that they're beneficent, that they're not the concept that modern television and media give to what aliens are about. And then that allows the Federation, the Galactic Federation of Light, then, which is the group of aliens we're talking about here. And I really shouldn't call them aliens because to me they're family. So what we really need to do here is understand that when that moment comes, they'll be using announcements from the ships as well as the announcements from the local governments to allow us to begin a communications with people at a level where the disbelief and fear that might come into it will be able to be, you might say, massaged away through the formalities of television and announcements and that go with all of that. So that's something that they're working on because they have noticed that even, especially among more primitive peoples, like, say, people in the areas that don't have any television or radio per se, in like really distant areas like the mountainous areas, let's say, of the Andes, when they have contact, most people get into fear about it. So what they want to do is use this process to allow people to get over these fears, to get over these preliminary worries, this kind of xenophobia that our planet has, and use that procedures that we just talked about, the government change and the announcements, and then they are coming on and explaining everything, and then after that having the landings, they have that whole process in that particular order so that any particular fears, any worries, any feelings of upsetness or fear about this